everyone checking out Precipice, an indie strategy game from Little Red Dog, released onto Steam May 1st for $12, and it is very much a competitive strategy board game. The strategy mechanics they're fine. They're well enough. They're good enough to support several hours strategy gameplay, especially if you change up the map a little bit. For the most part, easy enough to learn, but then there's some nuance and there's some unpredictability. There's some dice rolls, so you get replayability out of that. My main takeaway for Precipice, the thing I really liked about Precipice, is that it really does a good job. It's not a simulation game at all. I mean, all the countries are represented by animals, which is fine, a cute little art thing, but it's not like a realistic game. It's all very simplified, it's all very gamified, it's all very abstract. But it does a good job giving the feeling of the Cold War. It is there's two players, two superpowers, and you're competing for influence, but you're never in direct conflict. All your battles are proxy battles, trade wars, subterfuge. You're all pushing against each other, never directly. If you ever do come into direct conflict, it's game over for both of you. So it does and you want to avoid that while still getting an edge on your opponent without provoking them into destroying the world. So I really like that it simulates that feeling in a game that's not otherwise like a historical simulator. So let's jump in, check out mechanics a little bit, and you just get a idea of the game. A few different maps to play. I think Land Rush is probably the main competitive mode. I've been mostly playing the classic map, where it approximates the historical map, but yeah, after you get some experience in the game, Land Rush is probably what you'd be going for. A couple different AI behaviors and rules. We're just going to be playing against the AI here for a demo purposes. Can we be the United States of America, capitalist pig dogs, or the Ursine Soviets, socialist republics? Okay, we'll be the Soviets here. You get a couple different perks. You earn rare perks by defeating other players or the AI. Let's improve detection in Afghanistan. There's one for Cuba I really like because it's right next to the capitalist homeland. And one for North Korea. That's probably good too. Commit. Not a war game. Necessary firepower, annihilate each other, path to victories, diplomacy, subterfuge, misdirection. Alright, here is our interface. We're going to be setting the whole game. Our objective, here's the victory point score. Here's the scoreboard. We're trying to earn the requisite number of victory points. You do that by gaining influence, majority influence, or everyone, like all the countries in these different areas. These little blips tell you the number of points these areas are worth. We have up here our action points, our currency. We have 5 points. Here's our supply of soldiers. Here's our supply of secret agents. And there's a variety of map. Different maps. People like different map modes. I'm mostly playing just the loyalty mode. Trade opportunity is pretty good too. But I don't think we can trade on the first turn, because I think you actually have to add resources to trade. Anyway, what's our strategy? We have Arab League, a tenuous majority in Arab League. Warsaw Pact we start with. NATO does not belong to the U.S., even though they have all the countries, don't they? I guess they need more strongly loyal to them. Let's go for, I think, South America. I've done some games where going for South America turned out to work out pretty well. Let's go for South America. So Brazil here. Red's our side, Russia, blue's the United States. We can invade, deploy agents, or just speak. Talking to countries is very safe. You can't fail. I mean, it can fail, but there's no consequences other than you have to keep doing it. But it's super slow, so I rarely ever do. We're going to deploy one of our agents here. And then you're just going to start funding an insurgency. 50-50 chance of that working. That's 60% chance of that working. 70%. Come on, because every time it fails, it stacks up. So we spent a lot of money getting one stability off of that country. These little blips represent their governmental stability. By funding insurgents, we're able to take down one of their stability blips. It's 4 maximum, 0 minimum. And that's it. That's all of our action points. Can't do anything else. We end the turn. The United States deployed a spy. They're going for South Africa too. There's going to be some contests down here. They're going to diplomatic talks with Mexico. We're probably going to leave North America alone, so I'm not too worried about that. Now we know they have an agent in South America. Wait, did they say it was funding protests? I think fund protests anywhere without an agent. So they don't necessarily have an agent down here. In order to do insurgencies and coups, you need to have an agent. Keeping track of agents and potential enemy agents is very important because your agents throughout the game are limited, and you can assassinate other agents. So like, that's what the counter spy does. If there's an enemy agent there, counter spy, they're dead. The agents also destroy one another. So if you try to deploy an agent into a country that already has an enemy agent, then they'll be immediately destroyed. So trying to track enemy agents is pretty important. But counter spy is expensive. It's 2 extra points, and against the AI doesn't do a lot of counter spy. Against human opponents, much more. It's a lot more cat and mouse with the spies, and you want to withdraw agents frequently. You can have your spy act in countries adjacent to the country they're deployed in, which allows you to do a little bit of be a little safe because it's not necessarily super obvious where they are. But you still want to be moving agents around a lot if you're playing against at least human players, because I know the AI isn't super concerned with counter espionage. All right, Brazil's already for coup, but we don't have enough points to set it. So let's take a turn. Do we have any trade agreements? We might need more resources for a trade agreement. Oh no, we can't. Right there, trade agreement. So trade agreement's also very safe, also very slow. But they also change your actual resources. So let's trade with Japan. Near the end of the game, I might be able to get South Korea. If we have Japan as well, kind of sandwich it, and then take out South Korea. And 1 action point. We can also fund a space race. The space race, you get extra counter spy power. If you land on the moon, you get extra victory points. We're probably not going to go for a space race, though. That's very expensive. We have 1 point. What else are we going to do with 1 point? Probably not a ton. Maybe should go for a space race. I'm going to go for a space race. Let's just get that point in there. At least show you what it looks like. Money, 39% way to having a satellite. The United States issued a formal demand of your support of insurgents in Brazil. It's a very important part of the game, and this is diplomacy, where if you saw when we were funding insurgents, there's a little magnifying glass. And that is how likely you are to be caught doing it. So if you're caught doing it, your opponent can protest you, and they can either stop what you're doing, which will have consequences, or you can escalate the conflict. We're going to escalate here and say, we're justifying the aid with insurgents in Brazil. We believe in their cause. The United States is very upset about that and brought it to the council, but we have veto powers in the council. The UN can't convene, so we got to terminate aid, but now that it's escalated, we get further punished. We reject the evidence, and if our opponent backs down, they also lose influence. Now, whoever backs down gets punished. We're going to reject the evidence. The United States have withdrawn, and they're weaker for it. However, if we push the issue, nuclear war will break out, and then it's over for pretty much everyone. We'll probably end the video that way. Really going hard on Peru. I'm sad, 'cause I'm really going hard on Brazil. Killing others nice, supporting rebellion in the sovereign nation of Peru. I don't want to go to war over Peru, so I'm just going to ignore it. And we're going to try to coup Brazil. Alright, successful coup. We're now going to aid Peru. Some foreign aid in there. So it'll be harder for them to take. And now, once more, we have one. If Vietnam here is awfully vulnerable, can fund a protest. I know that costs 1, doesn't require an agent to be deployed. Let's fund protests in. Or we should be able to hunt down. We might be able to hunt down their agent. That'd be better. Can't do that right now. We'll do that next turn. Any other trade agreements? Let's look for trade opportunities. North Korea needs food. We already are buddies with North Korea. Trade opportunities. Let's look for that map. Australia. Or Indonesia? No. Thailand? No. Can actually not. Trade opportunities? Maybe I was wrong here. Okay, I don't think we can trade with Australia because they're too loyal to our opponents. What about about Iran? You guys want some trade? All right. End the turn. He's denouncing our coup d'etat in Brazil. Okay, we probably have to terminate here because I think he'll go hard on keeping Brazil. So I'll terminate the aid. Brazil's still now very weak. Egypt isn't very happy with us, but Brazil's still very weak. So we can actually just try it again. That's up the UI there. Okay. Try to get rid of this last bit of stability. Oh no, now I can't even coup. That's obnoxious. Still 2 more points. Where else can we score some easy points? Arab League already have a majority. South America we're currently fighting over. I think it has to be East Asia we're going for, right? Okay, so East Asia. What do you guys have? We can deploy an agent down here? Let's deploy an agent in Indonesia. Okay. Next turn I'll do counter spikes. Instead of that turn, got distracted by the Brazil thing. In terms of Brazil, nah, I'm justifying the aid. We're staying there. So you drop the issue. And then Ecuador isn't so happy about that, so Ecuador pulled out of their support of the US a little bit. Alright, so the US is going destabilizing Iran, might be trying to set up a coup there. Here we're going to coup Brazil again. 70%. Didn't get it. Let's try to hunt down their agent. Let's see if they're in Peru, just show you what it looks like. Nope, not in there. Next time I'm going to go hard and hunt down their agent just for demonstration purposes. Yeah, we can do a few more real turns so I start going crazy. Alright, let's do a few more real turns. Coup. There we go, 70%, we got Brazil. We back off. We pop over here. Indonesia. Let's get Thailand. Let's go for Thailand. Okay, a lot of failed insurgencies there. Oh, did he not protest? Oh, I think he doth not protest enough. And now he's launched an invasion. Okay, so he doesn't do it for me. So the United States has launched an invasion of Burma. So an invasion, you have ultimately unlimited troops. Your chances to take out the enemy troops, you have 66% chance to take them out, 33% chance to lose a soldier. Your opponent can fund the enemy. You know, I'm just going to ignore this. Normally I protest hard against invasions, but here I'm going to protest to show you what I'm talking about. So they deployed 1 soldier to Burma and Burma only has 1 soldier with a defense. The US has a 66% chance of winning this fight. We can aid the partisans, make it 50-50, or train them to make it 66-33. I think we're just going to aid the partisans, make it 50-50. Your pool of soldiers always replenishes, but what happens is that your unrest grows very quickly. So if your opponent keeps feeding the partisans and you never get out of the war, eventually riots break out, and you have to if you don't pay attention to it, you just lose the game. You get overthrown. So that is important to pay attention to. Normally I would protest that hard, but I just wanted to show you what the battle looked like, the battle screen looked like. So here. So South America, we now have the majority. Let's see if we can find any agents. So here's the intelligence report of the United States. They are stable. Their space program is at 39%. I thought we're at... No, we're at 0%. We're at 39%. It shows you both. And 14% of the Americans will strike first with their arsenal. So that's if we try to flip the table by launching nukes, there's a 40% chance that they'll win anyway. Let's infiltrate the CIA, see if we can hunt any of their agents. They have agents in Europe and in the Middle East. I just don't know where, because it could be anywhere. Because you know he's influencing Iran. Doesn't necessarily mean he's in Iran. He could be a neighbor to Iran. And that 2 points to counter spy is too expensive right now. But it looks like he gave up on South America. If we get United Front, these last 4 countries has 2 more points. It's probably better to get the majority in Asia. It's also only 2 points. Africa's 3 points, so that's a lot more work to get through that. Let's contest them in Asia. So back up here, do Thailand, insurgents all the way. and we'll just set up a coup. United States, nah, just like, hey, shush. Ooh, Australia didn't like that. A lot of trade agreements, and he deployed an agent somewhere. Looks like he just won this war in Burma, which is sad because that kind of messes up my whole East Asia strategy. Which means it might be wise just to bail on it, and we go somewhere else. That's why normally I would have. No, that's Southeast Asia. Is Burma. Southeast Asia is only worth barely any points. I don't even care. Let's keep going for East Asia. It does make my coup a little bit harder. Coups are modified by the feelings of neighboring countries. So that's a -10 +10. So just 45%. Let's take in the last bit of stability and then try a coup. 60-40. In our favor, we failed. Frustrating. Insurgents in Indonesia. And end our turn. When you fail a coup or something, it does go to the enemy. Oh, he's trying to get China, really. Trying to make a democratic China. When you fail an aggressive action like that, their loyalties do flip, but I'm not too worried about it. Destabilizing China? Just stabilize China? Let's see counter spot. It's CIA. So they have to be. Might be here in Afghanistan. No, I was thinking they're doing Iran and China is probably Afghanistan. Is that not actually adjacent? It could be in China. Counter spying actually is kind of hard. If they're a lazy player, will just be in the country. But I'm gonna counter their destabilization a little bit. We're gonna pop over here. They have troop station. You can also station troops in areas. When you do that, your opponent cannot invade because he can't go in direct conflict with the other player, with the other country. So doing that prevents coups and invasions, and does, however, tie up a troop. It's actually a really strong defensive maneuver. I probably underutilize it. Okay, Japan is happy about our trade agreement. They're going hard on China. That's my China. Stop. Aid China back up. Yeah, with that. And then we're going to space race? I only have 2 left. There's be something more intelligent we can do than space race. Not that space race is necessarily bad. We can fuel for some protests in South Korea, get them scared about that. And then fuel protests in. I mean, he doesn't have NATO, so we don't need to be aggressive about NATO. He doesn't really have any points at all. Unless he has to have NATO and just bugged out, right? 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why does he have 3? What? I actually can't see his points, can I? I don't think I ever realized that before. I can't directly see his points. Which seems like a weird UI thing, right? I just have to visually see it. Or like just visually account for it. Oil needed in Mexico. Oh, that's a good opportunity. Let's go a trade agreement with Mexico. And then we might have to send them some oil next turn. This is another one of these random things that can change up the games a little bit. Coup failed in Iraq. Hey, now Iraq's a friend. Is that some countries will need resources, and you can send them resources. I can't send them enough. I don't know how much they need. How much do you say you need? Mexico, how much do you say you need? 37 units of oil. It's going to be 2 more turns so I can send them oil. But then that will earn their loyalty. So we would have Mexico from the United States. That's pretty awesome if we get that off. Coup again. Alright, coup. We have Thailand. Can't set up a double coup. Don't need to. Indonesia should be ours. Southeast Asia. Are you mine? Or East Asia? We now have a majority in East Asia. So we're winning. I think we're doing pretty well here. And that's... I'll deploy troops just so you see what that's like. We'll do that. Boom, troop there. You can also withdraw troops. Next, I'll do an invasion. I'll try to invade somewhere the U.S. doesn't care about so you can see a proper war. And then I'll invade somewhere they do care about, so then we'll just end with nuclear destruction. End turn. I think I had an action point left. But we're wrapping it up here. It's in diplomatic talks. Mexico, he did not protest my coup or stationing troops in Thailand. I took the perk where they can't mess with Thailand, right? Well, I already took a pro-Thailand perk. Alright, let's invade a country they don't care about. Sudan, I doubt the US is too worried about Sudan. So let's invade. They have 2 troops, we have 1 troop. Let's go 3 troops in there. And then use our last 2 to space race. That's something we didn't complete this run. Can also go hard in the space race. The United States issued a forward announcement of the invasion of Sudan. Let's justify the war. There are Russian-speaking people in Sudan. We're not going to withdraw. The United States says, withdraw on the issue. Now Spain isn't happy about that, so they lose. What are you doing? The United States has invaded China. Somebody called Bethesda. Fallout is now real. They're putting all their... Okay, so the U.S., each one of those troops is an action point. They just put their entire turn into invading China. Obviously, we're not going to let them get away with invading China, so we protest. The United States has said, yeah, they manufacture justifications to invade China. We are taking this all away. No, we are not letting you just take China. Military intervention, and then they backed off. That was a dumb decision of them, because Canada, because now China's super our friend, because we just had them back off. Canada's pulled out a little bit. South Korea, that we can target, has been weakened. Israel's and New Zealand are also like less interested, so they lost a lot of influence by doing that. That was very stupid. Our war, and then once you're in war, sending war troops costs 2 per troop. So it's wars. You don't want a war to take long. War is not actually invasions. Don't tend to be a great idea. Hey, here's our satellite network. That would make counter espionage a little bit easier. Oh, he just couped Iraq. Fair enough. Wasn't paying much respect to the Middle East. Alright, that's the invasion. Showed you defense. Showed you getting invaded. Mexico, you don't need oil anymore, do you? Dang. I don't think anybody needs anything. World events. There is a world event every game. We have influence over India and China. And oil. Then they'll both be very happy with us, but India, ugh. We can do a trade agreement and be a long time for us to get there. I don't really want to mess with that. I just want nuclear war to pop out, because I think I've showed everything I'm too worried about. Other than one last thing, let's see if we can find a CIA agent. Still over here somewhere. Is he in? He probably withdrew, but is someone in Iraq? There's no one in Iraq. Counter espionage can be hard. Oh, here's our domestic unrest about this war. I guess I can end turns to try to win that war. Or invade South Korea. That'll probably be what we do to end it, is invade South Korea. That was nice insurgency down here. Hey, our war is successful. Favorable government in Sudan. Why is he targeting China? That is weird. I never had the AI go so aggressively against China. It seems like a weird choice. Hey, manufactured goods needed in Cuba. Cuba's already our friend. I'll send the goods. What you send in 44 of your goods. That makes you your friend. Cuba's already our friend, so it was unnecessary. But it would prevent our enemy from doing it, so that was more of a defensive maneuver. Normally, I like to do that aggressive and send that to countries that aren't our friends. The easy way to earn their loyalty. So now we'll invade. Let's invade South Korea. Yeah, we'll invade South Korea. I just stationed a troop in North Korea on accident because I clicked too fast. We only have 2 troops left. That's why. Dude, you need to get out of here. Withdraw troops. Now I have 1 more. Oh, it was a much smaller invasion than I had planned. And now South Korea. Oh, we won the war immediately. Wow, that was lucky. All right. Sometimes if they have a small defense, you can get that roll right away at the end of your turn, and you just immediately... It's not even protest. It's not even worth our efforts. Yeah, you just immediately win. They can't even protest the war if you just take it over right away. As far as I know, unless the AI just didn't care. All right, wow, we're actually like that was great. Now we get Japan. Yeah, this game we would end, but we would go hard on this Oh, not go too hard. We had the majority. We have a safe majority. So we'd probably switch our attentions elsewhere. We're wrecking, though. He only has 3 victory points left. Maybe South Asia. He only has a little bit of weak influence. Oh, and Burma, so he can't get United Front. That's only 1 point. Arab League probably make a little more sense. Anyway, let's make him real mad. Let's invade someone strongly loyal to him. Or we can just push... I haven't pushed the envelope too far. Let's go... Let's invade someone neutral, see how mad he gets. Let's invade... Oh, we need to get our troops out first. Or do any invading. Alright. Alright. Let's say invade India. Which is... That's not a good war for us, but invade India. Let's try to justify the war. We refuse to withdraw. He's saying they're defending India by any means necessary. And if we withdraw, we lose lots of support in lots of countries. But we can say we're going to take this all the way to nuclear war. Oh, and he backed out. Oh my goodness. This is a very weak AI. Like, this game. So a lot of countries now think the US is weak. Brazil's mad about us escalating tensions. So it's not guaranteed, not just your opponent will lose influence. They'll lose more influence ultimately, but countries will get mad if you keep pressing the issue. And here we're just getting, like, that's a long war. Which sometimes is a good strategy if your opponent is engaging in a stupid invasion like that, like when they invaded China. Not a half-bad idea, just let them do it and then aid partisans until they have to pull out. Because then they waste a lot of turns just fighting the war. They waste a ton of resources. Invade. That's just someone else easy to... what happens if we invade? How mad do they get if we invade? I'm out of troops. I'm out of troops. I can't invade anyone else. I'm just trying to get them... I'm just trying to get the U.S. to, like, launch nukes. I just want to... I haven't had this much trouble getting nukes launched before. Lunar landing funding. There you go, 5%. That's a lot of money to get the lunar landing. I'm sure if I invade Canada, let's invade Canada then. Oh yeah, the United States invading Iran. No, protest. Case. Military intervention. They backed off. Canada. I'm invading Canada. They will have to, like, get upset about an invasion of Canada, right? There's no way the U.S. is going to let that slide. Alright, so now we end the turn. Did they not? Are they letting me invade Canada? We're gonna end by riots because they're just letting me do whatever. I don't even. They're not doing anything about this. All right, we're gonna have to invade a country that's strongly loyal to them in order to get them. I figured Canada, being right next door, they'd do something about it. Action points. They have no one strongly loyal to them other than Burma. We can't invade Burma. I'm trying to invade the UK next. Oh, there's a brushfire conflict. That is, if you fail, sometimes conflict will destabilize a country somewhere else. It is helpful in that it can fool your opponent into where your agents actually are. I can do a diplomacy. We can see a diplomacy. Hey, you do a diplomacy. We're not so different. You get a little bit of that bar. You do it again. We'll have to see. We lose that bar. If you get that bar all the way full, then they're happy with you. Hey, United States full demand North Korea. So North Korea is probably a little more, less loyal to us now. I can't believe these war. We're gonna lose to unrest soon. And we have to actually withdraw. We almost have Canada though. If I escalate this war. Okay, next turn we'll probably have to withdraw if we haven't won. Let's stabilize Brazil. Hey, we conquered Canada! So in this timeline, the Soviet Union invaded Canada and conquered Canada. We're starting to suffer rioting. Looks like India... We'll just bail out on that war. Looks like India was too powerful. And who needs raw materials in South Africa? Yeah, guys, have some raw materials. Even if your invasion fails, it does. There you go. It takes down stability. So because our invasion failed, it did take down the governmental stability, and then the U.S. agent was sitting somewhere around here and just set up an easy coup for them. So that was something fun they did. Mexico strongly, it has to be. If we invade Mexico, they have to say something about it. There's no way strongly allied Mexico. There's no way we get away with that, right? Justify the war. Refuse to withdraw. Ready nukes. Here we go. Big red button. If we withdraw, lose lots of... I like that. I didn't realize the names changed. Apparently Canada, when we conquered it, changed the name to Kanakistan. That's fun. I didn't know that was possible. I don't think I ever conquered Canada before. Yeah, withdraw, lose a bunch of support, and this flips the table. This ends the game. If I hit this button, it's game over. We lose. Well, we don't lose. It's a draw. Small chance the U.S. wins. So hit the button. That would be a desperate measure. Because we're winning, we would never do that. Because all we do is best case scenario draw. Otherwise, give the enemy an easy win. But yeah, that was a nuclear war. Everything both lost. Which I will admit, the chance the enemy wins when you launch the nukes is very small. So usually it's a draw. So this is a lot of table flipping, ends up in a lot of draws, does make it a little competitively discouraging. Because like I'll go online, I don't want to go online because you saw the game could take a while. So you can imagine playing with another player, the games could stretch on for some time. And I can imagine that being really frustrating that you're playing these games. If you're going against other players and you're being competitive about it, I can imagine it's very frustrating when a lot of those games probably end in a draw when one player realizes they're in a bad position and they become very aggressive or they just flip the table with nuclear launches for something, being provoked by some way. So that is, I can imagine that could be very frustrating. But there's Precipice. Fair enough strategy game that really does a great job, I think, capturing the essence of the Cold War. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, Joe videos, subscribe for more fun Twitch. You guys know the deal. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.